Welcome. I'm going to be just offering you this video today. I know initially I said to join me on Periscope, which is a fantastic app, and you can start to follow all sorts of people of interest on there and watch live streams, get all sorts of fantastic information that can propel your business forward. And I will definitely be taking advantage of that app and offering some live streams. But today, just because I noticed not many people got around to downloading it, and I know it's something new, so it'll take some time to switch over, I decided to just upload this online to YouTube. So today it's going to be super casual, and I'm just going to talk to you basically about my own brick and mortar business and some different ways that I was able to get those up and going. The first one, so I've had 3 in the past 10 years. Really, it's the same business that's kind of been rebranded and just grown, but I had 3 different locations. And so I wanted to talk to you about how I went about starting each of these things. So the first one that I opened up was called Healing Practice, and that was in Norwood, Ontario. And, you know, at that point in time, I literally was just massaging a few days a week out of my house, and the word of mouth just became so overwhelming that I decided it was time to break free and open up a space and take that commercial lunge. I ended up finding a great location and had a business partner to go in and share the expenses with me. We kind of operated our own separate businesses out of the same space. But what I did there in terms of creating enough customers to be able to make it worth the investment to hold a commercial space was joint venture. So that was the very first thing that I kind of integrated into my marketing and my strategy, was a joint venture project. So at the time, I just thought, it's a small town, it's going to work different than being in Toronto or being in the big city. How can I get people to come in here and try my services? I went to the busiest and longest standing hairdresser in the area. And so what I did is I proposed to her that for her sharing my new business with her new clients and offering them some incentives. So I gave her some like coupons to give to her clients for a discounted rate or an introductory rate for a massage with me. And in return, she got to have a weekly massage by myself. So I kind of traded something that, you know, was good for her, and in return got something that was good for me. And honestly, that worked incredibly. I'd say probably 75% of my customers ended up coming from her. The other thing that I did was I heavily advertised. It was just such a tiny town. So, you know, this isn't necessarily what you would do in the bigger cities, but this worked very well in a small town, especially because everybody knows one another. I made every single effort that I possibly could to create really good, solid, strong relationships with all the business owners in town. I went and introduced myself, explained my objective, where I was from, what I was interested in offering. And I was just very upfront and, you know, created a lot of relationships. I made the effort to talk to people on the streets and get to know them and just create that personable, you know, charisma and attention and energy that people are looking for, because ultimately people are looking for connection. And I think that intuitively I understood that. And I love people, which is why I got into what I do anyway. So that was something that kind of very much complemented. The other thing that I did was hung posters at the local grocery store and a few around town. There wasn't really many places to put anything up. And I really created like a sense of intrigue for the town, because it's a small town and everybody's paying attention to everything all the time. I really made the effort to like newspaper the windows and you know, they saw me outside painting and inside painting, and they saw like something was happening and they didn't know what it was, and we were just really kind of discreet in the initial kind of renovating and getting the space ready phases, which created a lot of buzz in the town and had like a lot of people that would walk by and just be very curious, trying to peek in and see what was happening. And I kind of led that on for a little while, and 3 weeks leading up to the grand opening, I started offering intro rates and packages, and I was really already understood from my marketing background that, you know, referrals are one of your surest ways to be successful in pretty much any business. And so I knew that if I had some good relationships and solid relationships started with a few people, that if they trusted me and they liked me and they felt good with me, that they were going to then extend that to their friends. And so I knew that, and I spent the time with the initial customers that came in and inquired once the doors opened, you know, to buy their intro packages. And I also gave them a sense of urgency, or what we call like a fear of loss, that, you know, I had these packages for a discounted rate of $35 for a massage instead of $60 at that time, and that, you know, I was only doing this for the first 100 bookings. And so if them or their friends or anybody else wanted to get in at that amazing rate, that they should, you know, come quick, come today, come in the next couple days, because I'm sure that these are going to be gone really soon. And that really worked, you know, because I had 10 ladies that came in kind of like as a group. They were on some regular walk that they go on, and they all told a handful of friends. And the next thing I knew, I really literally had hundreds of appointments booked within my first week of opening. And I don't know if you want to call that luck, or others call it just putting out like a big kind of explosion of marketing all at once. And so it was a small town. I didn't need a big budget. I could be creative. And the way that I did that was offering introduction rates. I did posters in town. I created a joint venture. I was establishing relationships, and I offered an incentive while also giving them a sense of urgency to act on it. So I did all of those things. Now my branding, you know, was very important too. I chose the name Healing Practice, and it was focused on treatments and products that you can feel working. So right in the signage and in the branding of my business, I was telling them that this is a place where they were going to get treatments and products that they could actually feel working. And so there was already that like subliminal and very direct message, really, that they could trust by coming into the business that I was establishing, that they were going to get solutions to their problems. And I was very playful with my branding. I had great business cards. I had, you know, lots of little handouts and things like that that were already prepared on different health ailments and different things that people could do naturally. Initially, to be quite honest, you know, the partnership that I was in the business, his business was primarily massage, and he was doing, you know, his own thing. We were just kind of initially there to share a space. We later ended up collaborating our business, but I initially thought I would massage, you know, maybe 2-3 days a week, but my primary focus was going to be on supplements. So I was really invested in trying to stay open to provide, you know, supplements and products and things like that to people. Well, guess what? You know, within a few days, my business model completely changed from what I initially intended to do, because the market demand was different than what I had thought. And the marketing and the promotions of things that I initially thought I could reel people in the door for, which was the massage, which was a lot more open, because a lot of people don't know much about supplements or vitamins. It's also going back, you know, 8 years ago. It took off so well that I never even got to really be, you know, a vitamin shop in town. It just ended up being more of a bodywork and an energy work practice, where then I started being able to educate each of my clients during their treatments as to different protocols and things that they could do. And the investment for them was so good because I had something that was very unique and different. They could come for treatments. They were getting a reduced introductory price. I never made it a negative thing that I wasn't a registered massage therapist. I was a holistic practitioner with training in different techniques and modalities that were body work and were nutrition and holistically oriented. And, you know, I also then put in place, bam, right from the beginning, an opportunity to get them back in the door. So what I did was I created a membership plan. And I said, I can accept 50 people on the membership plan. That means you get a reduced rate. So instead of $60, you know, for a massage at that time, that was what the rate was. Now it's closer to 80, but back then it was $60 an hour. And I said that if you come once a month, you only pay 50. If you come twice a month, you pay 45. And if you come every week, your treatment's only $35. And then I also knew that most of these clients were purchasing products or supplements monthly as well. So I gave myself a guaranteed income within weeks of opening, because there were so many people that didn't have massage benefits that really, really needed and understood the benefits of how good they were feeling after their first treatment, that it was just kind of, again, like a sense of urgency. I'm only doing this for X amount of people. You are getting a reduced rate, so you're getting additional value with being with me by, you know, signing up for this membership program. And then I removed all the risk. I said, and it's a friendly commitment. There's no contract that you're signing. You know, you're allowed out at any time that you want to. It's just a great opportunity. And I was just upfront. I said, for me to know who I'm getting to see, it definitely stabilizes my income. And for you, you get like a really awesome deal. And so I was very authentic with my clients, and I found that, you know, people want genuine people, and people buy from people that they like and people that they trust. And if you are being upfront and honest, but like not in a negative way, I never, you know, overstep boundaries and said, well, you know, it's hard being a business owner, so we really need to kind of figure out ways that we know more or less what we're making. Otherwise, it's a huge gamble and blah, blah, blah. Nobody wants to hear that kind of stuff. But me saying like, yeah, this is good for you and it's good for me. So like, it's like a team thing, and it creates this, you know, instant relationship with people. People are used to just being, you know, exposed to fakeness, and just meeting people that are genuine, that are, you know, interested and passionate about what they do, and see them and, you know, are giving them the attention and time of day and willingness to be real with them. Like that is huge, huge, huge in terms of building relationships. So yes, it's a fine line to walk, and you need to use discretion in terms of what you divulge and what you don't. People don't really want to know too much about your life in terms of the negative stuff. Like they're not interested in that, but they do want to feel like they're invited into your life. Like we are humans, we are looking for human connections, but at the same time, especially, you know, my business being service oriented, people were coming to me to feel better. I needed to give them enough to tell them I'm a real person. I definitely have real things going on in my life, but always kept it on a positive note. Like, you know, even if I was really struggling with something, or say my kids were super sick or something happened, I could say, yeah, my kids are super sick, but you know, that's what I love about being blessed of having my own business. I can, you know, my clients are amazing. I can just tell you, you know, I need to move things around a little bit. I need to stay home with my little guys today. That type of thing. So I always left it on a positive note, but also gave people that little peek into my life that was a little more intimate and a little more real, and just built those seeds for relationships. Relationship building is the number one thing, and 80% of your revenue usually comes from 20% of your business. So those regulars, your regular customers, are usually the best place to be investing most of your marketing budget. And for me, because I was just starting out and didn't have any marketing budget, I really used my resources to find the best way that I could to be able to get a lot of people in the doors without spending too much money. And because I was in a small town, I was able to really orchestrate this by pulling on like everything all at once. So again, I created the joint venture, I put out the posters, I started creating relationships and offering intro rates and specialized deals I used the fear of loss in terms of I'm only doing it for this many people, you know, and you want to get in on that wagon. I was real, I was authentic. I told them that it worked for me and it was going to work for them. And then I gave everybody incentives after they were on the membership program to, you know, if they sent 5 people to me, if they referred 5 people, then I would give them a free treatment. That's something that I did. So I had a lot of programs, a lot of things going on all at once, and I was creating an email list at the same time. And then I offered, you know, educational things, free things. Like once a month I was offering like a free talk on a different health subject that I would email that out to all of my clients. And I used to pretty much pack the house in that like tiny little place. It was really incredible. And I could say, yeah, I was just so lucky to be so successful so quickly. But really, if I look back at it, I did so much. And on top of that, when you are just launching a new business and you're in a commercial space, a lot of times there's different things that you can take advantage of. There was a couple different newspaper companies at that time that were willing to come out and interview you and kind of do an editorial, like a spread on your story with like a picture of you. We even got a ribbon cutting. So that was extra promotion that was also coming out in multiple newspapers at the same time. I kind of just took advantage of everything, and really all I paid for was the cost of printing posters. That is it, the cost of printing posters and printing my marketing material. And at that time, I built my website on my iMac for free, and it was really super cheesy, but I guess like 8 years ago compared to now, there's a big difference in web presence, and it wasn't as important back then, but I did have that as well as a tool for people. I don't think anybody cared at that point in time, really. Now it's much more important. But so those are all the things that I did to launch my first business. And I'm going to cut this now. So we're already at almost 17 minutes. And now I'm going to, I'm going to stop, and I'm going to record a second and a third video to go over the way that I launched each of the 3 different locations that I had. All right, thanks for listening. And also I will post in the comments the different things that I'm doing to keep you in line with all of the things that we went over. Okay, thanks for listening.